I was fired for a leak I didn't make, so I returned to the office as the janitor, cleaning floors by night, while secretly rebuilding my career and exposing the man who stole my future. Before this story even began, I never thought things would go this far. What happened next changed everything. The email arrived at 6:03 a.m. on a Tuesday, the kind of hour only HR sends termination notices, when they hope you'll be too groggy to fight back. Effective immediately, your employment with Verve Creative is terminated due to breach of confidentiality. I read it 3 times before the coffee even kicked in. Breach of confidentiality? I'd spent 6 months developing the Project Bloom campaign for Wildflower Organics, the botanical illustrations, the earth-toned palette, the tagline, rooted in truth. It had won Verve's internal pitch competition. My name was all over the mood boards. And now, according to this email, I'd leaked proprietary assets to a rival agency. My phone buzzed. A text from my best friend, Marco. Did you see the Wildflower launch? Attached was a screenshot of Wildflower's new website. The visuals were unmistakably mine, down to the hand-drawn lavender sprig I'd sketched during my grandmother's funeral. But the credit went to Daniel Reeves, Verve's creative director, and my former mentor. I called HR straight to voicemail. I called Daniel, blocked. By noon, I'd emptied my savings into a month's rent at a no-name motel off I-35. By 3 p.m., I'd applied to 17 jobs. By 7 p.m., I sat on a stained mattress eating gas station taquitos, watching Daniel accept an industry award for innovative originality on LinkedIn Live. He didn't just steal my work, he erased me. 2 days later, desperation led me to a staffing agency that placed overnight cleaners. No experience needed, the woman said, chewing gum like it was a sport. Just show up, don't break anything, and wear the uniform. I took the job. On my first night cleaning Verve Creative, I pushed a mop cart past Daniel's glass-walled office. His award sat on the shelf beside framed photos of him shaking hands with Wildflower's CEO. On his desk, a printed copy of my original Project Bloom proposal, with my name white-outed and his Sharpied over it. I snapped a photo with my burner phone. Then I noticed something else. A sticky note on his monitor. Client dinner, 9 p.m. Don't forget the USB. Curious, I waited until 8:55 p.m., then slipped into his office. The USB drive was tucked in his top drawer, unlocked, arrogant. I plugged it into my phone. It wasn't just Project Bloom, it was everything. Emails proving he'd doctored timestamps to frame me. Invoices showing he'd billed Wildflower for original concept development while using my files. A folder labeled contingency containing fake NDAs with my forged signature. My hands didn't shake, my breath stayed even. Because in that moment, I stopped being Lena Carter, fired designer. I became Lena Carter, ghost in the machine. I copied every file onto my phone, left the USB exactly as I found it, and finished mopping the hallway like nothing happened. But as I clocked out at 5 a.m., I made a decision. I wouldn't just expose Daniel. I'd rebuild my career on the ashes of his lies. And I'd do it from inside his own building, cleaning his floors by night, creating my comeback by day. The next morning, I uploaded a single anonymous post to Behance, my original Project Bloom portfolio with one line beneath it, stolen by Daniel Reeves of Verve Creative. Ask him how. Within hours, it had 10,000 views, and Daniel's assistant was frantically calling every employee to find the mole. The Behance post exploded faster than I expected. By 9 a.m., our Project Bloom was trending in design circles. By noon, Wildflower's social media was flooded with comments. Is this why your original campaign looks identical to Lena Carter's portfolio? I watched it all from my motel room, refreshing feeds between scrubbing toilet bowls at a downtown law firm, my second cleaning gig. My real work happened after 5 a.m., rebuilding my portfolio under a pseudonym, LC Studio, and quietly pitching to ethical brands who valued originality over ego. But Daniel wasn't idle. At 2 a.m. on my third night back at Verve, I overheard him yelling in the break room, "Find out who has access to my office. Someone's leaking." His assistant, Priya, a quiet woman who'd once brought me ginger tea during deadline week, stood frozen by the coffee machine. "It could be anyone, Daniel. Even the cleaners," he scoffed. "Please, that new janitor's some broke girl barely making rent. She doesn't know Photoshop from potato chips." I kept my head down, wringing out the mop bucket extra loudly. But Priya's eyes met mine for half a second, and in that glance, I saw something unexpected. Guilt. Later, while emptying her trash can, I found a crumpled note in her bin. "Check security footage. East Wing, 1 to 3 a.m. She knew. That night, I avoided the East hallway cameras by taking the service stairs. But I also left something behind. A tiny sticker on the underside of Daniel's desk chair. A QR code linking to a private Vimeo upload. 45 seconds of him bragging to a client about repurposing junior talent's ideas while laughing. Audio I'd captured through my phone during a late-night cleanup. By morning, the video had been shared in 3 major design Slack groups. Daniel's response: a company-wide email. "We're investigating malicious rumors spread by a disgruntled former employee. Rest assured, Verve stands by its leadership." But cracks were forming. Wildflower paused their Q3 campaign. 2 senior designers quit, and Priya started accidentally, leaving her laptop open on her desk during my shifts, showing emails where Daniel pressured her to falsify project logs. I didn't just copy those files. I studied them, learned his patterns, his weaknesses. Most importantly, I learned he was terrified of one thing: losing his seat on the Austin Design Council. Their annual gala was in 3 weeks, the same night Wildflower's CEO would receive an industry award. If I could prove his theft before then, but I needed more than digital evidence. I needed something undeniable, something physical. So I did the one thing Daniel would never expect. I applied for a temp position at Verve's print shop, under my real name. When HR called to offer me the job, "We're short-staffed and your resume is solid," I almost laughed. They'd hired the ghost they tried to erase. On my first day back as a print technician, I discovered Daniel's ultimate insurance policy: a locked fireproof safe in the server room containing signed contracts that proved he'd been stealing concepts for years, and the only key hung on a chain around his neck. The print shop job gave me access to Verve's inner sanctum, the server room where all master campaign files were archived. Daniel never came down here. He considered it grunt work, which meant he didn't notice when I lingered near the humming server racks, studying the fireproof safe bolted to the wall. Priya confirmed my suspicion during a chance encounter in the stairwell. "He checks it every Friday," she whispered, eyes darting down the hall. "Before payroll. Says it holds legacy contracts." Legacy contracts. Code for proof of his decade-long pattern of theft. But the safe required a key, and Daniel wore it on a chain beneath his shirt even in summer heat. I needed a distraction. Something big enough to make him remove it. Enter the Austin Design Council Gala. I anonymously submitted my original Project Bloom portfolio to the council's Emerging Talent category, the same category Daniel had won last year. Under my real name, the nomination email arrived 3 days later. "Congratulations, Lena Carter. Your work has been shortlisted." Daniel's reaction was immediate. He stormed into the print shop at 11 a.m., face flushed. "What the hell is this?" he demanded, shoving his phone in my face. I feigned confusion. "Looks like someone appreciates honest work." He leaned in, voice low and venomous. "You think this changes anything? You're still a nobody, and I'll make sure you stay one." But that night, I saw him pacing outside the server room, hand clutching the lump beneath his shirt, worried. Perfect. The gala was 2 weeks away. I had one shot. I spent nights researching old Verve campaigns, cross-referencing with industry awards, found 3 more cases where Daniel's original work matched obscure portfolios from junior designers who'd quietly left the industry. One woman, Maya Ruiz, had vanished from social media after accusing him in 2019. I tracked her down through an old art school contact. She lived in Santa Fe now, running a pottery studio. "I warned everyone," she told me over a crackling phone line, but no one believed a Latina intern over Golden Boy Daniel Reeves. He threatened to blacklist me if I spoke up. Her voice hardened. "If you have proof, use it. For all of us." Her words lit a fire in me. This wasn't just about my career anymore. The Friday before the gala, I put my plan in motion. During lunch, I accidentally spilled coffee on Daniel's favorite blazer, the one he planned to wear to the gala. "Oh God, I'm so sorry," I gushed, grabbing napkins. "Let me take it to the cleaners downstairs. They'll have it ready by 5. He grumbled but handed it over. And with it, the chain with the safe key, which he always removed before dry cleaning. While he was in a client meeting, I swapped the key with a duplicate I'd molded from clay during a previous shift. At 2 a.m., I returned as the janitor. The safe opened on the 3rd try. Inside, not just contracts, but handwritten notes detailing how he'd manipulated timelines, pressured assistants to lie, and even sabotaged competitors' pitches. At the bottom, a sealed envelope labeled, "Insurance Do Not Open." I photographed everything. Then I added one final touch, a small folded printout of my original Project Bloom sketch tucked into the envelope. Let him wonder who'd been there. But as I closed the safe, my phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "He knows it was you. Be careful, Priya." I deleted the message and finished mopping the hallway. Tomorrow, the gala. Tomorrow, truth. At the Design Council Gala, Daniel confronted me on stage during the Emerging Talent Award, only to freeze when the projector screen behind me displayed his safe's contents, live-streamed from Priya's laptop in the audience. The gala glittered under crystal chandeliers at the Driscoll Hotel, Austin's old money playground. I wore a simple black dress bought with my last $80, my hair pulled back to look professional, not pretty. Daniel spotted me the moment I walked in. His smile didn't reach his eyes. "Bold move, Lena," he murmured, cornering me near the champagne fountain. "Thinking you can waltz back in after spreading lies?" "I'm here for the award," I said evenly. "Like everyone else." He laughed, but it was tight. "You won't win. And even if you do, no one will hire you after tonight." I didn't flinch, because I knew what he didn't. Priya was seated in the 3rd row, laptop open, connected to the venue's AV system via a password I'd found in his office trash. The Emerging Talent category came last. "And the winner is," the host paused for dramatic effect, "Lena Carter for Project Bloom." Polite applause, confused murmurs. No one expected the fired janitor to win. I walked on stage, heart pounding but posture steady. As I reached for the mic, Daniel stood abruptly. "This is a farce," he boomed, striding toward the stage. "Lena Carter stole that concept from Verve Creative. She's a liar and a thief." The crowd hushed. Cameras swiveled. I turned to face him, then gestured gestured to the giant screen behind me. Actually, Daniel, I said softly, let's talk about theft. Priya hit play. The screen filled with images from his safe. His handwritten notes detailing how he'd adapted Maya Ruiz's 2019 packaging design. Email chains pressuring Priya to backdate my Project Bloom files. The forged NDA with my signature. And finally, the insurance envelope opening to reveal a list of every designer he'd plagiarized since 2015. Gasps rippled through the room. Wildflower's CEO stood up, face pale. Daniel lunged for the AV booth, but 2 security guards intercepted him. "You set me up!" he screamed at me. "No," I said, voice clear across the silent ballroom. "You set yourself up. Every lie you told, every artist you erased, you documented it yourself. All I did was show the world what you hid in the dark." Wildflower's CEO approached the stage, mic in hand. "Ms. Carter, would you be willing to lead our rebrand with full credit and creative control?" Tears pricked my eyes, but I nodded. I'd be honored. As Daniel was escorted out, shouting about lawsuits, I caught Priya's eye in the crowd. She gave a small, fierce nod. But the real victory came after. Maya Ruiz sent a text. "You gave us our voices back." And for the first time in months, I slept without nightmares. 3 weeks later, as I signed my contract with Wildflower, Daniel's lawyer delivered a cease and desist claiming I'd illegally accessed private property. But the envelope contained something unexpected. A flash drive labeled "For Lena" from a friend. The flash drive sat on my new desk, sunlight streaming through floor-to-ceiling windows in Wildflower's downtown office. My office? My nameplate. My second chance. I almost didn't open it. After everything, paranoia was a habit. But curiosity won. The drive contained one folder, Verve Financials 2019-2024. Inside, bank statements, offshore transfers, and invoices showing Daniel hadn't just stolen creative work. He'd embezzled over $2 million from Verve's client accounts, laundering it through dummy LLCs. One name appeared repeatedly as a signatory, Eleanor Vance. The name sent ice through my veins. Not because I knew her, but because I'd seen it in news reports about a recent academic corruption scandal in Chicago. A woman who built empires on other people's ruin. Was Daniel just another pawn in her game? I called Priya. "Did you know about this?" Her silence stretched. I suspected. He'd get these encrypted calls. Always stepped outside to take them. Once I heard him say, "Yes, Ms. Vance." She lowered her voice. "Lena, be careful. If she's involved, this goes way beyond Verve." But I couldn't walk away. Not when innocent clients had lost money. Not when junior designers like Maya had been crushed to feed someone else's greed. I contacted a financial crimes reporter I'd met at the gala. Shared everything. Minus Eleanor's name for now. 2 days later, the story broke. Verve creative founder accused of massive embezzlement scheme. Daniel's assets were frozen. Verve shuttered overnight. But the real shock came that evening. My doorbell rang. On my porch stood Maya Ruiz, holding a ceramic vase glazed in earthy tones. "I drove all night," she said, eyes bright, "to thank you. And to ask, do you need a brand strategist?" I hugged her fiercely. "I need a partner." We spent the night drafting plans for Carter Ruiz Collective, a design studio built on radical transparency, profit sharing with artists, and a zero-tolerance policy for credit theft. But as Maya slept on my couch, I stared at the flash drive. Eleanor Vance was still out there. And if she'd used Daniel to launder money, who else was she using? My phone buzzed. A text from an unlisted number. "You've done well, Lena, but the game isn't over. Meet me tomorrow. Or your new studio burns before it opens." Attached, a photo of Maya's car parked outside my building. I deleted the message. Then I did something I should have done months ago. I called the FBI tip line, because some wolves don't hunt alone, and this time I wouldn't face them solo. The FBI traced the threat to a burner phone registered to a shell company, but the real surprise came when Eleanor Vance herself walked into my studio the next morning, holding 2 coffees and a proposition. "Let's discuss how you can help me dismantle my own empire." Eleanor Vance didn't look like a criminal. She looked like someone's elegant grandmother. Silver hair in a neat bun, linen pantsuit, carrying 2 oat milk lattes like we were meeting for book club. "Impressive space," she said, glancing around my half-furnished studio. "You've built something real here, unlike Daniel's house of cards." I didn't offer her a seat. "Why are you here?" She set the coffees on my desk. "To offer you a choice. Option 1, I disappear. My network protects me. You spend years chasing shadows while I ruin other Lenas." She sipped her latte. "Option 2, you help me burn it all down from the inside." I stared at her. "Why would you want that?" "Because power corrupts absolutely," she said simply. "And I'm tired of being the monster in the story." She pulled a slim folder from her bag. "This is a list of every person in my network. Bankers, lawyers, executives like Daniel, their crimes, their secrets, all verified. I didn't touch it. What do you want in return? Immunity. And a seat at your table." She met my eyes. Not as a leader, as an advisor, to ensure no one becomes what I became. It sounded insane, dangerous. But then Maya walked in, fresh from her morning run. She froze when she saw Eleanor. "You." Eleanor turned slowly. "Miss Reese, your pottery studio in Santa Fe? Beautiful work. I've followed your journey." Maya's fists clenched. "You funded the gallery that dropped me after I accused Daniel. You ruined my career." "I did," Eleanor admitted. "And I regret it, which is why I'm here." Maya looked at me. "Don't trust her." I knew she was right, but I also knew something else. Justice isn't just punishment. Sometimes it's transformation. I'll take the list, I said, but you answer to the FBI. And you never contact either of us directly again. Eleanor smiled faintly. Fair. She left the folder and walked out without looking back. 2 months later, the Department of Justice announced the largest corporate fraud takedown in Texas history. Daniel got 10 years. Eleanor, cooperating witness status. Maya and I launched Carter Ruiz Collective with one radical rule. Every artist gets credited by name on every project. Our first client, Wildflower Organics. On opening day, I hung a small plaque in the lobby, rooted in truth. Some mornings I still wake up expecting to mop floors, but then I see Maya laughing with our interns or check my inbox full of pitches from designers who finally feel safe to create. Daniel's theft tried to bury me. Instead, it planted me. And now I bloom. True revenge wasn't watching Daniel fall. It was building a studio where no artist would ever be erased again, turning the pain he caused into protection for everyone who came after me. After sitting with this for a while, I still don't know if there was a right way to handle it. I'd really like to know what you think.